Man, I did not think that I would be making this many Canucks videos in the first month of the year, but with all the crap about them losing and them being bad and all the stuff that we had been piling onto the list to talk about because of them being bad, we gotta throw in some good stories once in a while. I know we had just seen 2 wins in a row and we made videos about that, but this type of thing is one of the more entertaining parts of being a Canucks fan. Because yesterday, I know we had ourselves the win against Pittsburgh. We made a video about that. I called it the best game of the year, because that's pretty much what it was. But we had ourselves some more things that I wanted to talk about from that game specifically, and what we've been kind of seeing spark itself up over the past few games, even spanning into the losing streak that the team had to kick off the year before Bruce got his big 600. Today we're making another video about the Russians on the team. Last time it was going over what these guys could potentially offer in the middle six, and it was a lot more of a preliminary look because it was the preseason, or was it even the preseason? I think it might have been training camp, but we did talk about the 3 Russians on the Vancouver Canucks: Vasili Podkolzin, Ilya Mikheyev, and Andrei Kuzmenko. And today, we're talking about them for different reasons, not because we're going over what they could be, but because of what we've seen. And particularly what we saw last night, what we have been seeing in the past 2-3-ish games. The reason I'm making this video is because yesterday, after the Canucks beat the Penguins 5-1 at home, we had ourselves an interview done on the Canucks Twitter account of Andrei Kuzmenko. It's a 3-minute clip. It's an absolutely adorable video, and I know adorable is a weird word to use when talking about Canucks players getting interviewed, but this fits the bill to a T. Go ahead and watch it. Andrei Kuzmenko gives some insight as to how he's feeling after the win in Rogers Arena and scoring in Rogers Arena. But the funny part about this video is that Vasili Podkolzin is actually the guy translating for Kuzmenko. Now, remember, Kuzmenko spoke in English prior to the season actually beginning. In Whistler, he had a few interviews in English. Sure, Ilya Mikheyev was translating a little bit, but Kuzmenko was talking in English. For this one, the first half of the video, it's just question from the reporter. Podkolzin repeats the question in Russian. Kuzmenko then replies in Russian, and then Podkolzin translates and says it in English. This was kind of funny because the halfway mark of the video, somebody asks Kuzmenko, "Hey, what happened to your English?" And everybody laughs around, and then Kuzmenko just so elegantly talks about how when he came to Vancouver initially, in the first day, it was cool. You're learning English all the time. But then he says after 2 weeks, his mind just went boom! And now he thinks it's a little bit too overwhelming, it's a lot of information, and his brain's kind of tired, which I could totally understand. I mean, the guy's in a brand new continent, learning a new language to use every day, and I mean, of course, he said give it a little bit more time and it'll probably work itself out, but for now he's a little bit overwhelmed. I also wanted to give some props to Podkolzin, because I know the guy hasn't really been producing all too much. He only has 2 points in the 9 games he has played. But when it comes to all the stuff that made Vasili Podkolzin a valuable pickup back in 2019, even though I was kind of against the pick because I wanted Caulfield, there were still so many qualities of leadership and effort. You would never see Podkolzin take a shift off. He would block shots, he would rush to the net, do all this good stuff. And honestly, the more I watch Podkolzin this year, the more I'm starting to see those intangibles come across in what he does. Sure, he only has 2 assists, but did you see Podkolzin last night? He was blocking shots, he was going out there dumping the puck in, keeping it in the corner, making it so that he gives his line mates enough time to come back. He's been a really good leadership team type player. And the work ethic, it comes across on and off the ice. Remember when Podkolzin was drafted? He had to speak through a translator. I know that was 3 years ago, and 3 years is a lot of time, but when Podkolzin made the NHL just a few years ago, he only did his first English-only interview at the end of that season. When the heck was that, 2021? Or no, it was this previous season. Yeah, his last season was his rookie year. And now, just a few months down the line, Podkolzin is the translator. He is the guy listening to the questions, repeating them in Russian, and then taking the answers and doing the vice versa process on that. This guy's work ethic is insane. And I know he might not be Cole Caulfield getting a goal every game or whatever, but still, there are some very good character-building qualities to Podkolzin that I think are indeed valuable. So, I don't care if the guy's got 2 assists. He's going to start scoring more. He's going to actually get rewarded for the really good play that he's been providing. I like Podkolzin a lot, and the interview from yesterday, the game from yesterday, I thought that really clicked in my mind where I was like, yeah, no, Podkolzin is slowly becoming one of the more reliable and consistent players on this team when it comes to just providing good quality effort. That's admirable, 100%. Speaking about Kuzmenko, yesterday's goal saw him put up his 6th point in 9 games played on the season. If you go over to Kuzmenko and his point production, because he's at 3 goals and 3 assists, 2 of the goals, of course, were tap-ins from JT Miller in front. The other goal was the tip-in on the Luke Schenn shot. He's on pace for 27 goals, 27 assists, and 54 points in 82 games played. Now, of course, pace is just pace. It's only been 9 games. An 82-game sample is a lot different. We'll see if Kuzmenko gets 27 goals, 30 goals, or maybe even only 15 goals. But for now, Andrei Kuzmenko has actually been, I want to say, evolving as the games go on, because earlier on in the season, we had seen that Kuzmenko has talent, and we know he's capable of playing on the power play and being a very legit offensive threat. But as of late, we've been seeing some more rushes where Kuzmenko is trying to make some fancy moves, dangle into the middle, pull off some really nice shots. He's been getting his swagger on, and I think the information overload that he's been experiencing, part of that has to do with hockey as well. He's starting to feel the NHL game more and more, and he's getting a lot more comfortable with it, that now he's actually making some pretty nifty dangles, and he's making some good plays. Sure, Kuzmenko and Podkolzin had a very bad shift in... Oh man, what was that game? Was it the Buffalo Sabres game? I think it was the Sabres game, where they ended up giving it up and it led to a 3-on-1 goal to kick off the third or something like that. But now, I mean, the success rate of these moves, sure, he's not scoring every time he does it, but he's making things happen. And as long as his tendencies with the puck don't result in 2-on-1s going against for Victor Olofsson to bury in those 2-on-1s, yes, it was the Buffalo game, I remember now, then I can probably live with that. I'd rather see Kuzmenko trying some nifty things than holding back. Then you have yourselves Ilya Mikheyev. Yesterday, following up his 2-goal performance against the Kraken, he got 2 assists against the Penguins, so he's all the way up there at, 5 points in 6 games played. Mikheyev legitimately is under a point per game with Vancouver, and it's easy to see why. Yesterday, against the Penguins, he could have had 2 goals himself, where he dangles right through a whole bunch of defenders, walks in on the goalie, and just isn't able to finish it because the goalie either blocks the 5-hole or covers the open side that Mikheyev is trying to go to. But as his games have been going on, we're really starting to see the speed, the capability of handling the puck at such high speeds, and how he's able to read the play and set guys up in front. Ilya Mikheyev has been a very good addition, and as long as he stays healthy, I do think that 4.75 AAV till the end of 2026 is not going to be that bad. I get it, the guy's 28 years old, the contract goes on till he's 32, but if he gets, what is he on pace for, 66 points in 79 games played? If he's a 60-point guy through and through, night in, night out, then there's a lot to like with that. $5 million, just under $5 million, I can live with that for a 60-point caliber player, and maybe even more if he actually gets his legs going under him and he's maybe able to go on a run. I really do like this Russian trio so far, man, and I don't know, it's been growing on me the past few games. Obviously, Mikheyev did not start the season in Vancouver because he was out, but ever since coming back in, he's sort of been going through that same rejuvenation as a lot of the team has, where they're slowly getting a bit better and up to speed. They won these games against Seattle and Pittsburgh with some great performances from these 3 Russians without Hughes and Boeser. I know Boeser, you could debate, oh, is he really that impactful on the team? But like, Hughes! No Hughes, and you're still getting points from all these guys. Okay, not Podkolzin, but you can see the work ethic, you can see the effort, it's all out there, and it's very nice to see. But either way, talk to the comments your thoughts about the 3 Russians on the team. The link will be in the description if you want to watch the Kuzmenko interview, because I do think that's a very good and funny video to watch to brighten up your day. This is also what I said, man. When the Canucks start winning, this is when the good vibes come to town. There's a lot of good feelings going on ever since the team has 2 wins in a season where they're, 2-5-2 or something like that? Either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you noticed the work ethic of Vasili Podkolzin, the antics, the deking of Andrei Kuzmenko, and the willingness to drive to the front of the net and the offensive IQ of Ilya Mikheyev? Are these things being noticed by you, or are you kind of just putting them in the back of your mind to look out for the next few games? I definitely do think it's something worth talking about. So let me know in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 9. and bye.